We are here in the belly of the beast, COBRA PUMA headquarters. We are joined by the masterminds behind the DS Adapt irons. When you started off with this, I guess from inception, what were the goals with the DS Adapt irons?
In the iron categories, there's a lot of different segments. It's really important for us to identify the specific player that we want to target. So there are two models, which we haven't had in the past. The standard iron, we call it DS Adapt Standard. This is our 10 to 20 handicap iron. And then we have our DS Adapt Max iron, goes from about a 12 to 25 handicap. And there's a lot of differences in these irons, but really identifying what that player needs from a shaping standpoint, from a performance engineering standpoint is key.
If I'm a golfer out there and I'm in that range that you talked about with these, how do I decide between the two?
Yeah, so there's one key difference and then a lot of little differences. The first key difference is the loft. So there's a 2-degree loft difference between the two. So the DS Adapt Max is 2 degrees weaker. So if you're somebody that wants to hit it a little bit higher, struggling with launch a little bit, that's the iron that we would fit you into first. Besides that, when you look closely at these two irons, you'll notice a lot of different little details. So when you look down at it, you'll see a different top line thickness. So the standard iron has a little bit of a thinner top line. The Max is a little bit bigger. And then the sole is a little bit wider here in the center. And then this one's got a nice clean chamfer on the back.
Yeah, and is it challenging creating two sets of irons, but they're gonna fit a wide range of players? Is it tough to kind of get all the characteristics that you need into both of those?
So I think a big part of this is the shaping and making sure that the shaping is hitting what the target market is looking for. So with this new DS Adapt line, we've introduced our 360 speed shell, so it's a larger face insert. Normally we would not have this return on the toe. What that's allowed us to do is to thin out some areas to increase ball speed and face flex by about 23%, especially on missed strikes. So I think that's an incredibly impactful thing for all golfers. Even if you're a super good player, you still miss the ball. So
all the time?
All the time.
In the back here, you can see this huge chunk of metal, and we designed this to dial in the mass property, so the center of gravity, the moment of inertia, and that's delivering you all that performance in the back end that you need. So super, super forgiving, that part.
What are the goals initially when you first start off on a process like this?
When we're handed a project, we want to understand its functionality, the technology. Once we have a full understanding of that, we'll go into our ideation phase and we'll spend months creating drawings and sketches to tell that story. When we design, we pay homage to what came before it. We want to outdo it, and we want to make it look better and perform better than the previous year, and that's what we always strive to do.
We got the DS Adapt right here. Beautiful looking iron. Give us some examples, like in this iron right here, like where you pulled from to come up with this funnel.
So this iron has several different finishes. From the blast head, it's a blast brush finish. You add in the medallion, it's got pops of high polish, pops of blast. We spent a lot of time dialing in this pattern, which is inspired by some of the watches we've seen on tour. This one came off a royal oak face pattern, which I love. I'm a big fan of diving into the details of a watch and seeing how those small parts really fit together and make a beautiful composition like this guy.
Yeah, it's a good looking club, and it's cool to hear how it takes its shape, from a variety of different things. I think you nailed it with this DS line, so thanks for giving us a little insight on it all.
Thanks.
Josh, talk about the testing process. How do you test it to the point where you're like, okay, it's perfect, now this thing's ready to be released?
Definitely. I think we start in FEA, which stands for Finite Element Analysis.
Of course.
And
I knew that.
And that really is just data simulation, so telling us how durable, the stress that we're seeing on the face. So we're making sure that the durability is going to be okay, that the sound is going to sound okay. And this is all before we're even getting alpha prototypes in. And then once we get the parts in, we will send it through our full testing panel to make sure that we're seeing the ball flight that we want, it's durable enough for the player. And then player testing to make sure that the players are enjoying hitting the irons.
What's the timeline from when you first start working on this iron to the time that it gets released on the market, people can buy it?
So we have a 2-year life cycle of design and engineering, and we need all of that time. There's a lot of iterations that we go through. He mentioned about little highlights on the iron, the little details of the surface, and we'll look really closely together in the CAD system at a surface, and we're like, we think it looks pretty good, and then we'll print it out on a rapid prototype, and we're like, that needs a little bit of tweaking. So we iterate that process. How many rapid prototypes do you think we go through on a?
Yeah, like three to four a week.
The shaping process is a 4 to 6 week process, so there's a lot of iterations in there just to get the shaping right before we move to the inside.
There's so much more that goes on like behind the scenes. As a golfer, you're just like, oh yeah, it's on the rack, let me go grab it and hit it, and you don't understand the years and how many different things you go through. You guys have done an unbelievable job with the DS Adapt. Thank you so much for your time. Josh, Doug, thank you. Keep up the good work. Let me know if you need any help with any of this science.
We'll bring you onto the team.
You got it.
Will do.